Whew. Man, I got to get a better second job than this. Oh. Where's my old friend? Ah, here you are. Well, I tell you, it's rough duty cruising the skies over Flagstaff, keeping the Empire at bay. But it's my job. Somebody's got to do it. Might as well be me. A friend of mine, who became a professor and a mentor of mine, Don Gilbert, introduced his class, quantitative analysis, when I was a sophomore, with the immortal words, "Analytical chemists are strange beasts." Well, I'm an analytical chemist, and the strangeness doesn't go away with time. So how many analytical chemists are out there in the audience? A couple of them. Stand up, you guys. Never mind, don't bother. Good to see you all. Hi, I'm Bill Farrell, 1973 graduate of NAU. Went on to Purdue to get a master's in analytical chemistry, and then on to Imperial College, where I got my PhD in the same subject. And irony upon ironies, I never worked as an analytical chemist. I worked with analytical chemists, but not as one. I think I got paid once for an analysis of barium in seawater, something like 100 pounds over there in the UK. And, I still worry today about reading in the newspaper, concrete bridge collapses in North Sea or wherever. I don't know where it was built. Anyway, I'm sorry that I'm and unable to attend the chemistry banquet at NEU in Flagstaff. I mean, who wants to miss that event? I hope the tortellini was hot and the salad was cold, and that everybody is having a good time there. So, the Don Gilbert Award for Women in Chemistry. Why Don Gilbert? Well, I gave you a bit of a glimpse there of how he impacted my life. When he said analytical chemists are strange beasts, he had me at strange. Later, he had me at beast. So I became a beast of an analytical chemist. I had what's called the knack, the ability to read that meniscus and dial those instruments in and look at the matrix and figure out how things were going. And it turned out that was my calling. Don Gilbert also taught us how to make nitrogen triiodide. Anybody laughing? Inorganicers back there? Yeah? Well, when you smear that on the floor in front of the elevator, not expecting Gilbert to show up, that's a bit of a surprise. Anyway, tomfoolery aside, women in chemistry. Why is that? Well, a lot of reasons, really. My wife is a structural geologist, PhD, published, has done research, worked for an oil company for over 30 years, well respected in the industry. And I can tell you something, in all the presentations I ever gave to oil company executives and people in our group and so forth, I was never introduced as a soccer dad, much less a soccer mom. I was never even introduced as a scoutmaster, and that's something that I would have been proud of. But Helen was introduced as a soccer mom at one gathering, and I think that just shows you the difference between how women, even respected women, are treated differently than men in the workplace, and that persists today. It's something that I have dedicated my life and my fortunes to alleviating as best I can, and the Don Gilbert Scholarship for Women in Chemistry is a way to do that, to recognize and support young women who are embarking upon a career, to give them a little bit of confidence and a little bit of acknowledgement that yes, there are people out there who support them and care for them and wish them well. My daughter is an aerospace engineer. She started off as a veterinarian or pre-vet, didn't like chemistry. The genes skip a generation, they say, right? So go figure. Didn't like chemistry, switched to physics of all things, and then took an elective course in aerospace engineering and found that that was her calling. Just as Don Gilbert got me with strange beasts, my daughter Sarah was captivated by the instructor pilot saying, "Have you flown before? You seem to know what you're doing." And Sarah saying, "No, it's just Bernoulli's principles in physics and motion." Now she works for Boeing and she flies what are called vehicles in space. I don't really know what she does, and I can't know what she does, and I don't want to know what she does. All I know is that when she tells me that I have a loose roof tile, I'll call a contractor and have that checked out. So yeah, women in science, women in chemistry, women in industry, I think it's a great thing, and it's something that I think that we should support. And so to that end, we have two awardees tonight for the, I think, 6th and 7th scholarship that we're handing out. We have Elizabeth White. I don't know, Elizabeth, are you out there? Stand up and be recognized, or perhaps you're already over here on the stage. I know the layout of this place. And Marisol Sharoni. Where are you, Marisol? Ah, there you are. Okay, great. Good to see you. Good to see you. So let's give a round of applause for these two awardees for the Don Gilbert Scholarship for Women in Chemistry. And I would like to thank you very much for indulging with me this evening, and hopefully I'll be better at figuring out my calendar next year and make the event. So have a good evening, especially you folks down there at table 1, and we'll see you next year. Thanks a lot. Bye.